You have set your dial to episode something or other on my box barn build. Now it has come to my attention that there is a view shared by some commenters out there that this build has been somewhat, I'm just gonna say, haphazard. But what I aim to reassure you of is that there is some kind of plan. The plan being mainly to improvise and play it by ear. But with that said, I did order some more siding. It was actually delivered the other day. Dude showed up with the truck. I'm not even gonna say where this thing came from. It's currently for sale on Facebook. No, the guy showed up with installation. Yeah, so there's at least a plan, like a hope and a dream for things to become somewhat civilized around here. Is that gonna happen? Yes, that's gonna happen. When is that gonna happen? Well, you know how it is when you're building a building, you got like work to do and stuff. You just piece it together in between everything and it gets done. It just gets done at a unique pace. I splurged, bought some gravel, and I'm just filling this in, trying to make it so that when I pull out of here, I don't just bang on the concrete. I've been kind of dinging my concrete a little bit and that's just not right. Plus the boss was out of town, so I managed to use some of the equipment from the so-called tree service. This bad boy has been coming in handy. I might have also squeaked a few loads in the dump trailer. My 1-ton portable scaffolding device. Comes in handy in situations like this. Long-time followers of the channel may remember when I built this rack. It's gotten a little rusty over the years. Definitely good portable scaffolding setup, but I gotta get the tip with the ladder. Also, you see some flappage going on up there? That needs rivets and or some additional bracing in the back to screw into. There's another little flapper over there. Just it's a little loose because this front truss is kind of funkified. I just gotta finish up a few loose ends. Oh, is that too short? It's just like a hair too short. Anyway, finish up a few loose ends before moving on to making more loose ends. Oh yes. I pretty much got the front of the building sided, you know, siding on the structure, but there's still these little triangle things on the sides to take care of, and they kind of bring up a dilemma. It's worth mentioning is that there's a lot of space over these containers that's not going to be used. This little triangle of space, you know, the hoarder in me thinks ladders and pipes and stuff. But I'm gonna try to avoid that, so I'm not opening up this end. Like I had thought about making this a door, but that's not happening. I'm just gonna frame this out, just like I did in the back, on the sides, everywhere else. But on this long knee wall you see here on the right, I am gonna put a door or two, just so I can get in here if I need to. I could imagine wanting to bolt something to the top of the container and then wanting to be able to get in there and, you know, tighten a nut on the top or something like that. So there will be access from the front, but I think it's going to be unutilized space. All right, that bad boy is ready for siding. This is just some scrap on here just to give it something to screw to, and I'm thinking I gotta nip that off. Little bird perch. Speaking of birds, I gotta show you a little bluebird action. Each container has this little kind of hole up at the top. It's pretty much perfectly sized for bluebird nests. As a rule, after finishing one step in the project, you gotta at least stand back for a minute and just take a look. Now this brings about a little bit of a conundrum in terms of the sequence of things. And here's what I mean by that. Basically, the next logical step in the project would be to put on the soffit steel, just totally tune up a little bit of trim outside, like some little touches and stuff. But there's kind of like this issue of the elephant in the room. I had insulation and internal wall stuff delivered, and it's just kind of like eating up the space in here. So I'm gonna go out of sequence. Don't do this at home. It messes with your mojo and your flow and all that stuff. I'm gonna go out of sequence, and then just remind me to get back to the soffit stuff outside. It's gotta happen. And notice I did not mention the missing garage door. It's kind of just getting kicked on down the road till it seems right. Basically, when I framed out the walls, I didn't add any vertical stuff to hold my wall in place. I don't know what I was thinking. I just kind of didn't do that. So now I got to retrofit this thing with some vertical stuff. I'm just going to space it out so that it fits with the paneling I'm putting up. All right, bay update. These guys are coming along. There's also just like the little wee detail up top. I'm gonna need a plate just so that the ceiling has something to stick to down at the end. But otherwise, this is bayed out for wires and stuff. This just got a little bit weird where I needed a 2-foot bay, and then I've just got this little stretcher. So I think I'll just do the next bay 2 minus 8 1/4, just so the insulation sits there. So the next bay over here is going to be marked off this, just because I've got wall boards and stuff going up. I'm just going to kind of pretend like my big post isn't there for all this wall and insulation stuff. Now, in terms of the flow of things, this wall is now jimmied up and kind of quasi-legit for insulation, wiring, wallboard. And really what I want to do is insulate and wire and wallboard that wall. But the proper thing to do is to also trick out this guy, get it all retrofitted. So sidewall, a little bit up top. I've got a few sort of connectors up there already, but a little bit up top, and then this kind of fiddly mess. The reason it's a mess is that my completely legit electrical system has got to be rejiggered all at the same time. And on the topic of new tools, this is the Gorilla Cart cutting station. Mobile, holds some scrap while you're at it, and you know, just got like a little bit of bounce when you're pushing on the saw. I've got like every kind of puffy cottonwood stuff blowing in here. I mean, stuff is like everywhere. In addition to a couple birds nesting in the belfry. So yeah, after this and the wiring and the insulating and the walling and blah, all that stuff, this thing just still needs a door. The retrofit is coming over to the corner where I finally got to face the fact that this is a Jankadelic temporary solution. I mean, it's kind of amazing how long you can actually run on a power strip. You know, it's not the biggest power strip, but it's gotten me through for quite a while now. So that's just gonna hang there and continue to do its thing. Not in this video, but, oh man, in a subsequent installment. I think I got 86, the little mini Smurf box. Go for something bigger. So that's kind of on deck. In the meantime, just kind of work around it because I'm attached to the power. Yeo faux wall studs, or whatever you want to call them, are in. That was the last one right there. And this is just kind of like something I need to put in for the future. I'm just going to put this big boy up over the garage door jamb, just because I want to be able to hang stuff on the inside, like the mechanism for moving the door. I feel like I need that big beam before I do anything else. All right, that just about wraps up this episode in my box barn build. The facade, this front type thing, is pretty much tuned up. I didn't show you, but I did come back in and do some riveting on the seams. And then with those wall joists kind of set up, the inside is ready for stuff. Wires and insulation and walling and all that kind of thing. It's gonna be next time. The nice thing about next time is that when I get all that insulation and stuff out of here, those wall boards up and in place, I'm gonna get my space back. It's been a pretty nice space. Even with the project not being completely done, the space has been excellent. It's just got a good vibe to it. I've been liking it as a workspace, as a place to put things. All right, it might be obvious to you, but if not, I might as well just say, this right here, it's not really like a how-to video. It's just the story of how I did it. Tune in next time for the subsequent episode in the box barn build.